You guys got any games on your phone? Well, if you do, maybe consider not playing that game and first liking this video. Thank you. Now, if you've been following this channel for a long time, you know that I am very big on understanding the law. I try to not tell people how to live their life. I just try to give out information. And in this video, that's all I'm doing. I'm just going to be giving out information for people to make their own choices with how they want to live their life. I'm not going to be linking to anything. I'm not going to be promoting the purchase of anything. So now that we got that out of the way, today we are talking about how the Biden administration and the ATF are currently targeting 80% or personally manufactured firearms, and how that change could take effect as early as about 2 weeks from now. So before we get going, again, thank you everyone that's been supporting this channel. Got a new video uploaded every single day of this week. So if you missed any of the videos from this earlier this week, go ahead and check those out. I would very much appreciate it. Also, check out the community tab, doing a poll over there that will be directly related to one of the videos that's going up this week or this weekend. So when it comes to the 80%, there's been a whole lot going on. I believe it was last year, sometime around this year, Biden actually said that he wanted the ATF to target and crack down on the epidemic that is ghost guns. And now we're going to try to avoid using certain words. So if you hear me say Casper, that might be interchangeable with the word ghost, because if I say it too many times and in certain contexts, YouTube will do some things. Definitely not bend me over and just, but it is what it is. So the Biden administration said they wanted to target that. ATF then said, okay, here's our proposed regulations. And basically the way they said it was this. This is not a firearm. Currently, under the definition of the law, this is not a firearm and is completely legal. This is just a paperweight. This is a paperweight legally. So ATF said in their proposed regulations, which something like 300,000 people, or I can't even remember, it was such a crazy amount of comments that they got that it was unprecedented for any other regulation from any other regulating agency. So they would propose that the difficulty required to make something not a firearm would shift from the currently 80%. So right now, this firearm or this paperweight is 80% of the machining done that would require it to be a firearm. If I drill any hole in here, any hole there, or there for the trigger pins, that would then make it a firearm, no matter how little. If it's 81% of the way done, that's a firearm. 80%, apparently that's fine. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, if the ATF says that's a firearm, we'll just make 79% lowers. No, because the proposed regulations that are most likely going to be coming initially said that basically anything that would require less work than a complete gunsmithing license and gunsmithing degree with CNC machines and a full shop and anything less than 8 hours, they said that that would be considered a firearm. Now, the problem is that the ATF then is going to potentially give FFLs and other sellers as little as 60 days to then put serial numbers on these items, which are currently just unregulated items in most states, put a serial number on it and treat it as if it were a firearm. Okay, that's a pretty big hurdle. How do we get past that? Because we've already answered that 79% lowers are not the way that they're going to go, right? One of the very neat ways to work around that many of you are very well versed with would be, now I'm covering up the serial number and whatnot because there's some information on here I don't want you to see. This is a firearm that was made by additive manufacturing. This was made essentially from a few lines of code, a spool of filament, and that's it. This is a 0%. This was making it from the ground up. Currently, the definitions of the laws would not affect making something like this. If you want to see a video on how I did this legally in the state of California, if you go over to my channel, it's probably one of the most highly viewed videos on the channel, so you'll be able to find it, 3D printed Glock. This firearm here was made from an 80% using one of the easy jigs. Now, this was a very easy experience. Took me about a day. This, unfortunately, would be considered a firearm if the feds get their way, which it seems like they might, as early as April. These changes could take an effect as early as April. That's 2 weeks from now. Maybe early April, mid-April. That could be a month from now. So you only have so much time. What about a 0% lower? Typically when we've seen something like that mentioned, it's just a block of aluminum about as big as you would need in order to fit a lower inside that amount of space, right? So it's just a big hunk of aluminum. Well, that's not really practical. Most people lack the skills, the tools, the time, and the know-how to actually turn a solid chunk of aluminum into an AR-15. Now, many people have probably seen the guy who turned a shovel into an AK. Now, owning that shovel, probably totally fine. That's probably fine. I'm not a lawyer, this is not legal advice, but that's probably fine. Now, the people at Defense Distributed, actually, I think I might have to blur out that name, but there is a thing called the, remember, Casper Gunner 3.0 is a tabletop CNC machine that can be operated by most people with any amount of internet skills to watch a video on how it works. And this can create from a single block of aluminum plus some of the parts that you would get from this company, the 0% lower. This, as it stands, would be completely unaffected by any proposed regulations that we've seen. This would be able to be bought and sent to your house in the state of California, even after July 1st of 2022, when 80% lowers and all unfinished firearm frames or receivers would have to be sent through a dealer. You would still be able to acquire a hunk of aluminum. It's just a rectangle of aluminum, that's all it is, and then buy everything else and have it shipped to your door. That's how it seems now. I'm very fortunate that I already own a 3D printer. And I'm very fortunate in that recently the people over at Casper, the people that make the Casper Gunner 3.0 actually just reached out to me asking if I wanted to get my hands on one of their 3.0 units and the 0% lowers. If you want to see me make one of those, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to make that kind of content, but only if it's something you're interested in, because the 80% stuff tends to not always do so well. So if that's something you're interested in, that would be something I'm interested in making content about. There are ways for you, the average person, to get around these laws fairly easily and legally. But it seems like we have a very short period of time to get these 80%. So if you like the way the industry is now, you should probably acquire the things that you need to keep doing that for a long period of time. If you want to be able to adapt to that, there are ways to do that, and that will be, again, probably a topic for another video showing the actual process of some of those things. Kind of hard to do. If you're looking to learn more about 3D printing, controlpew.com, great source. If you're looking to just enjoy some 3D printed firearms content, Print, Shoot, Repeat on YouTube, another excellent place to learn and just enjoy the hobby. Let me know what you guys think down below. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.